Welcome all to today's class on aircraft hijacking in public international law. This is Dr. K. Sangeeta. In the introduction, aircraft hijacking is the unlawful seizure of an aircraft by an individual or a group. In most cases, the pilot is forced to fly according to the orders of the hijackers. Occasionally, however, the hijackers have flown the aircraft themselves, such as September 9th attack of 2001. Sky hijacking is not usually committed for robbery or theft. This cartoon would explain that if anyone tries to come through that main door, I want you to blast away, unless, of course, it is Rocky with the coffee. So this cartoon explains how the pilots behave and how it is happening in hijacking. Most aircraft hijackers intended to use the passengers as hostages, either for monetary ransom or for some political or administrative concession by authorities. Motives vary from demanding the release of certain inmates to highlight the grievances of a particular community. Hijacking also have used aircraft as a weapon to target particular location, notably during the 9/11 attack. According to Alon Evans, aircraft hijacking is a contemporary addition to the roster of international and national crime, and the necessity for its control at international and national level is only beginning to be recognized by the states. The increase in the number of incidents of hijacking and increase in the danger against the safety of the aircraft presents grave problem before the international community, particularly before the International Civil Aviation Organization. In order to solve this problem and punish the hijackers, several conventions have been adopted. First, we will see the Tokyo Convention 1963. The Convention on Offense and certain other acts committed on the board aircraft was signed at Tokyo in the diplomatic conference on September 14, 1963. It came into force on December 4, 1969. If you see the provisions and its scope, the Tokyo Convention has stipulated under Article 1, Clause 1 cover offences against penal law. Acts with or whether or not they are offences may or do jeopardize good order and discipline on board. Any aircraft, either it is passengers or for persons with a high profile, when they travel in a plane, the safety becomes the first criteria to be protected. But when you see plane hijacking, it is a very heinous crime to be considered, and actions are taken accordingly. Now we will see the applicability. The applicability of the convention has been elaborated in Article 1, Clause 2. The convention shall apply in respect of offences committed or acts done by a person on board or aircraft registered in contracting state, while that aircraft in flight or on a surface of the high sea or on any other area outside the territory of any state. Exemption. Article 1, Clause 4 exempts the application of the convention of the aircraft in military, custom or police services. Consequences. The convention forbids forceful seizure of the civil aircraft in flight. As in Article 11, charges of the contracting state with the duty of restoring such aircraft and cargo to the rightful owner and facilitating resumption of the interrupted flight. Deficiencies. The Tokyo Convention suffers from a number of deficiencies. The convention neither defines the term hijacking nor makes an effort to deal with an offence itself, presumably because the act of hijacking was not regarded as a crime. It simply lays down what would be the consequences if hijacking takes place. The convention does not extend to domestic airlines except when the airlines pass over the high seas, but linking cities of the states of registration. There is an absence of provision regarding clearly formulated principle of an inescapable punishment. There is no prescription of adequate punitive measures. The main emphasis on the restoration of property and resumption of the flight. The offenders may take into custody by contracting state, which may initiate criminal proceedings and extradite the offender, but neither the action is mandatory. Article 16 makes it very clear it does not create an obligation to grant extradition. Exclusive rights given to the flight commanders for protecting the aircraft and imposing restraints on the offenders are to some extent unjustifiable. Next comes the Hague Convention in 1970. Increase in the number of incidents relating to hijacking and the shortcomings of the Tokyo Convention compel the states to think and take more effective measures to solve the problem and to give deterrent punishment to hijackers. This process started in September 1968 when the International Civil Aviation Organization Council was asked to study the problem of hijacking, leading to the adoption of the Hague Convention 1970. The Convention of the Suppression of Unlawful Seizure of Aircraft. After having been ratified by the prescribed number of states, the Hague Convention came into force on October 17, 1971. If you look into the provisions, the offences covered, Article 1 defines the offences that may be covered by the Convention. It says any person who is on board an aircraft in flight, unlawfully by force or threat thereof, or by any other form, intimidation, seizure, or exercises control of that aircraft, or attempts to perform any such act, is an accomplice of a person who performs or attempts to perform such an act, or commits an offence of such nature. In addition to the actual wrongdoer, his accomplice also would be deemed guilty of the offence under Convention. Next is the punitive measure. Article 2 of the Convention states that each contracting state is required to make the offence punishable by severe penalties. Next is the jurisdiction. The Convention applies in the international as well as domestic flights. Further, the Convention applies in cases of forced landing as well. So the first part, it is very clear that air safety is very necessary during flight journeys, and the aircraft being hijacked is one of the major offence both under domestic and international law.